We're good. All right. First of all, just kind of recapping last week after going back and watching the video is pretty similar to what I said after the game. You know, we've been talking to our guys about the importance of playing a full 4 quarters to our potential. Really felt like we'd played 2 quarters in the last couple of games, and kind of watching this game, it was probably a little closer to 3 quarters. Really, there was just a patch there in the second quarter to the early part of the third quarter. You know, that little 15 to 20 minutes is really where, we let them get on a 24-0 run. You know, I thought whenever the game was 7-7 going in the second quarter, we were right where I kind of wanted to be and felt like we could keep going. But that 24-0 run there, the second quarter, the beginning of the third quarter, really stung us going down 31-7. I think we kind of dug ourselves too big of a hole there. But like we talk each week, all right, that's the event. That's what happened. Now, how do you respond? And, again, you got to do it each and every week. You can't just say you're going to respond well because you have in the last the few games. But, really proud of our guys kind of bowing their neck. And we went on a 14-point run, made it a 10-point game. And, really proud. We had a turnover, which is very disappointing on kickoff return. It really hurt some opportunity for us to go down and score. But then, again, quick change. Defense is out there. Again, first and goal at the 5. 4 really good plays there. And then the offense to go 98 yards. Like that's probably the biggest positive with their backs against the wall. Really disappointed in the 55-yard touchdown that we gave up right there at the end because really going back and watching it, that was play 79 in the game. The first 78 plays, we only gave up 4 runs over 10 yards, which is probably one of our better performances of the year. But that one was a backbreaker at really the wrong time right there. And biggest thing I told our guys, we turned the ball over 4 times. It's hard to beat anybody when you turn the ball over 4 times, especially when you're playing one of the top teams in the country. So that's an area that we've got to improve. But offensively, better 2 weeks in a row, I think, playing good third down, doing some good things on third down offense against 2 of the best teams we played all year defensively. So that was good. And then, defensively, we gave up, 1 big play in the passing game, which is a positive versus one of the most talented quarterbacks in our league and in the country. But again, just not quite consistent enough when we needed to. So a lot of good and some bad that we got to correct. And ultimately, we're still looking for that 4 quarters to play to our standard. Tulane, I think they're very similar to us in a lot of ways. I think they're better than their record says. Hopefully, people may think we're have a chance to be better than what our record says. I think they're definitely better than what their record is right now. You really look at the last 2 weeks, they played extremely well, especially on defense. 2 weeks ago, they went into Central Florida and held UCF's offense to 277 yards and 14 points on the road. That's I think it gives their defense, Tulane's defense, a lot of confidence. 4-point game there. They had the ball with a chance to go down and score at the very end. And then last week against Tulsa, Tulsa really good offense and good defense, and they were in a position right there. There's 4 seconds left for a 26-yard chip shot right in the middle to beat Tulsa. And then, ultimately Tulsa won in overtime, but they held Tulsa's offense to 382 yards, which is pretty impressive. And, so again, we're in a position, I think both of our teams are looking to finish the season strong. Really a challenge that I gave our team on Monday is it's been 5 years since our program has finished with 2 consecutive wins to end the season. 2016 was the last time that our program has finished the season with 2 consecutive wins. And that's the opportunity that's in front of us over the next 10 days. And I think that would be a great exclamation point to really put on this season of improvement and really give us a lot of momentum going into recruiting, going into the offseason, going in next year. Also give our seniors that are leaving a way to leave on a positive note. But you can't win your final 2 if we don't win this one against Tulane. So all of our focus is in that. Really encouraged. In my opinion, sometimes the Tuesday practice is a pretty good indication of where your guys are mentally. And man, our guys, we got some guys battling some injuries, and they were all in there today, going full speed. I was having to tell them, whoa, not sick them today. So that was I had to kind of keep them separated. So, really encouraged by that. It's going to take a great week of preparation. It's going to be an early start, 11 a.m. their time, early start. So we got to be ready right out the gate. But I'm excited about it. Our players are excited about it. And, this is a big one for us to kind of what I've said. Like everybody feels internally, and I think even on the outside, that we're really making some strides and momentum. Well, we're going to find out this week, because if we are, this is a team that you should be able to go and play well and come away with a road victory. So really, we're not going to kind of be able to hide behind the top 20 rankings or the number 5 team or all this. This is definitely a very capable team. But if we've been making the improvement that I feel like we have, then we need to go and find a way to get a good road victory before we come back to Tampa. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach, 11 a.m. kickoff, how much does that change your itinerary?
Just moves everything up just a little bit, but it's good. We're a morning practice team. Our guys are in here anywhere between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. every morning. We're on the field at 9 a.m. So to me, it's actually a little bit more of a challenge for us when you practice in the morning all week and then you play a 7 o'clock kick. So whenever I saw that, I was excited. Just for the record, I like all the road games to be noon kickoffs, and I like all the home games to be night games. So that's just kind of how I look at it. So, I'm excited, and especially with us having a short week for the next game, playing on Friday. It's important. I think it helps us get back, before midnight, where sometimes you play a road game and you're back at 4 a.m. and you got to turn around and practice the next day. So, hey, whatever time we're supposed to kick off, we'll be ready. But typically our guys wake up and kind of ready to go. And as a coach, you're ready to wake up and go out there and go play.
How much do you think, Jeff, that the stability that you have here helps this team mentally? What I mean is, it seems like this year all over. Look at Nebraska, right? They basically changed their whole staff right now.
Yeah.
We've seen it before. We've seen coaches fired earlier. How much do you think the fact that you players don't seem to have to worry about what we're going to have?
Yeah, it is kind of a weird feeling right now, and the fact that our guys are more confident in what we're doing and what they're doing, and just how we do things. There's an energy, and there's not an acceptance of losing games is okay. That's never going to be okay. But it's also how you continue to go that shows the true progress. Last year at this time, we had a lot of guys that didn't want to practice on Tuesdays at the end of the year. And now these guys want to, and they see it and they feel it. And, I think the confidence that Michael Kelly, President Law, Will Weatherford, Mike Griffin, our board, the confidence that they have in myself and our staff and what we're doing right now, I think it definitely gives myself and our staff and our players confidence that, we're going to, again, we talked about this is a tough situation. And it takes time to kind of get there. I thought it may be a little bit earlier than it has been, but you go through it and you kind of figure it out. But I think it's when you're still building, it's how you play that's important, and consistency, and not having a bunch of penalties and not doing the things that really cost you games, of lack of discipline, lack of focus. But to be honest, I don't think our players even have thought about any of that. I think that they're encouraged that we are improving. They feel optimistic of the opportunities we had the last 2 weeks, and they feel very optimistic about next year. And I think a lot of that was a lot of those kids wanting to come back. But yeah, it's a challenging year all over. And I think one thing that's probably not talked a lot about is, coming off of a COVID year last year, that's just a weird setup. And then you got some teams that had more seniors last year. Like if you were a team that had 25 seniors last year, then and you had the COVID waiver, you may be able to have 20 guys. So you may have 100. There's teams out there with 105 scholarship players right now. And you could have been a team last year that only had 8 seniors and 6 of them came back. And so you're playing with, 91 scholarships. So nobody really talks about that. That's not even worth looking into. But I think that's why you're seeing a lot of kind of weird records and weird things that are going on. And so for us, again, our goal is to get ourselves to be a sustainable a program that can, championship program that can have sustainable success. And the only way that you get there is have a level of consistency overall. We haven't had it in the games for 4 quarters like we need to, but I do feel like we've had it since that open week. We've been trending the right way.
Jeff, the offense has matured into one that has the quick strike, the bite ability, and you can grind it out. Now against Cincinnati, you couldn't really grind it out.
Yeah.
At one point you look up and all of a sudden it's a two-score game.
Yeah.
You're putting points
Yeah.
on the board various ways.
Yeah, I think again another positive is Timmy is getting a lot of experience, being a true freshman out there, and very disappointed. I don't know how many yards we had at half, but it wasn't good. It might have been less than 50. And then backs against the wall. You got a true freshman out there. Them guys were as advertised. You kind of think you know what they're going to look like, and then you get out there and O-line's like, yeah, these old boys are pretty dang good right here, and tough to get our hands on and all that. And then to go have over 300 yards in the second half, they had all their best players still in there. That was encouraging. And, I think we needed one thing you got to have ability to make big plays. I mean, it's very hard in college football to just grind it out for 15 straight plays. And that's 4 third-down conversions you got to get typically to do that. So we need the ability to be quick strike. And that was really good to see by Jimmy. That was encouraging, because we've seen that stuff in practice, but it kind of has to happen. And then to happen against one of the best teams that has legit speed and all that stuff, I think that'll give Tim even more confidence to be able to make those plays, and our guys' confidence in him to count on him.
Tulane kind of built some good recruiting momentum last year. I mean, Willie Fritz was building that program, taking a step back this year. But what do you see about Tulane and heading into this week?
Yeah. Well, again, I remember watching them the first game of the year against Oklahoma, sitting there going, well, it's going to be a pretty good year for this league. Tulane's over here about to upset the number 2 team in the country, I think, at the time. But he's done a really good job. And I think recruiting-wise, as we're out evaluating, they've done a good job in Florida as well. I got a lot of respect. Coach been doing it for a while. And I know, this year and the year that they've won it exactly from a record standpoint, but what he's done there, I think maybe last year they had like the best 3-year run that they've had in a long, long time. So I definitely have a lot of respect. They don't lose games for penalties or being undisciplined. They're very well coached. They've just kind of had some, kind of like us, some weird things happen, and maybe hadn't got some of the breaks in some of those situations. But they're definitely a team that's much better. And that was my first message to our players is, hey, don't buy the lie. Just like we all feel that we're a better team than our record states, I can promise you this team right here was very close to knocking off Central Florida and Tulsa the last 2 weeks. So it's going to take everything that we have and great focus. And again, at the end of the day, what we're trying to develop is a mindset that doesn't matter if you're playing Cincinnati or, some middle school team. It's the same mental approach and same focus each and every week. That shouldn't change. And so hopefully our guys are buying into that.
Best logo in the conference besides yours?
Oh, gosh.
Like Nathan Wade?
Best logo. Man, we're reaching here for that. I think we have the best 2 logos, the U and then the original logo. I like both of those. I'm going to go with those 2.
This is your first meeting with the mascot since.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm going to have to I'll have my dad standing behind me the whole game. Keep a watch over my back.
Arrest out there.
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully, actually, after I talked about that, Troy Dan, their AD, is a really good guy, and he's on a lot of these committees with our conference. And so after I talked about that, I don't know if that was the beginning of the year or something, he sent me a text and said, hey, we heard you talking about our mascot. You need to be ready. So, I'll definitely keep a lookout there.
As you get deeper into the season, last year, obviously, with guys being out, you had to reevaluate how you practice. As you get deeper into this year, are you finding yourself in that same place?
Yeah, we're in a better position how we're practicing. We're still, I think last year we were thin on both the scout team and the varsity. Now we got enough for the scout team guys to give us a look. And we're a little bit more healthier than we've probably been the last couple of weeks. But yeah, we're able to practice full go and not really having to service each other like we did last year.
Coach, a little bit of a strange question. If you have players that you have to sit out because of protocol, do you have to notify Tulane, and do they have to notify you of that, or is it just show up and surprise?
Are you talking about due to COVID protocols?
Yeah. Is there a process for that, or?
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I will say this, the trainers, I know Steve Walls, our overall head athletic trainer for the athletic department, he's on committees that I think they probably speak weekly, and they update each other on things that are going on. But there's nothing between a coach or anything of letting anybody know. Knock on wood, we've been really fortunate all year in that area.
Xavier Weaver has, when he's been able to play, he's pretty consistent with his ability to make big plays. How have you seen him emerge this year?
Yeah.
What do you see for his future?
Yeah, and again, I've been high on him since I got here, and what I've seen with him, and I've been pleased. He's a very consistent player. I think that's, again, some of the most talented wideouts that I've been around. Yes, they can make. There's guys all over the country that can make like that one-hand catch, but it's the consistency of catching balls every time they're thrown to you, right? And just the day in and day out of running the routes. And the best wideouts that I've been around are very consistent in a lot of areas. And that's what I would say about Weaver. He's very consistent as a route runner. I think for a freshman quarterback, he knows exactly that Weaver's going to be in the right spot where he needs to be, and all that's important. So I've been pleased with the way that he's played this year, and hopefully he'll have some more big plays in him here to finish off the season.
With Xavier's ability to catch anything around him, and Timmy's ability to be accurate, that could be a pretty lethal combination down the road.
I agree. We actually saw that, I think, in the NC State game. There wasn't many good highlights, but I think that was one of the highlights right there early was Weaver and Timmy right there. But yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, that's, our message to our wideouts is, you catch the routine balls all the time, and you catch the impossible balls most of the time. That's got to be your mindset. If not, you're not going to be a very good wideout. Probably one of the best I've ever been around was DeAndre Hopkins. He's 6'1.5", but you get it within a 12-foot radius of him, he's going to catch the ball. It's like throwing in a huge garbage dumpster. It's just like you get it in there, he's going to catch it. And Weaver has some of that to him, where you get it around him, and he's also very flexible. And I think that's another thing that's a little underrated is guys that can catch the ball in a lot of different body positions. Sometimes you may have guys that can run fast, but they're a little stiff and they can't get back to all those balls. But you watch Weaver, he can really get to just about any ball, and been pleased with him. Ultimately for him, the next big step, and he knows it, is going to be getting stronger and putting on some muscle just for overall durability. But he has a chance to be a guy playing on Sundays if he continues to work the way he is.
Guys, when you're watching the tape, and who jumps out at you on offense and defense for Tulane?
Yeah, I think their backs are really talented. Their running back, they have two running backs that I think are really good that show up, and if those guys get on the edge, they can go. I think their quarterback is, he's a freshman. He's made a lot of plays for them. Again, part of that game at the beginning of the year, watching him against Oklahoma, he was kind of dissecting a lot of nice throws in there. And then defensively, they're very athletic at corner. I think one thing that's helped them the last 2 weeks defensively is they really went away from playing so much zone coverage to really they're playing a lot of press man in your face. And they have the athleticism to be able to do that. And they played both Central Florida and Tulsa both have really athletic wideouts. And Tulane, those guys did a really good job not giving up much. So because they can press those guys and not give up the soft throws, it's allowed them to be able to get in the box and play the run a little bit better. And that's why you see, them having success defensively in the last two games. So I think they have a lot of athleticism on the outside, both at wide out and corner.
You guys are on pace to set some pretty good records in least penalty yards in this program's history.
So can I blame you if that changes here in the next 2 weeks? Okay, all right.
But, just this team has gone from, one of the most penalized programs in the country to one of the fewest at this point. Is that, you put a lot of that on the culture you guys are trying to build, or is it?
We still, number one, we still have work to do to improve there. I give credit to the players because ultimately they're the ones out there, but it's something we talk about and they know, I think. And again, it's not just coaches talk and people may get tired of hearing it, but I've lived it. I know 1,000% it's true. When guys are accountable off the field, they're held accountable in the classroom, study hall, showing up, being where they're supposed to be, being on time, it becomes who you are and it becomes a way of life and it becomes a standard in your life. So you get on the field, you play discipline, you play with standards. But when you get away with that off the field, and maybe that's not as emphasized or guys don't buy into that, then if you're undisciplined off the field, it carries over to the field. So I'm not taking credit for that as a coach. All I can do as a coach is present and explain it, but ultimately they have to decide to do that, and they have. And I think it's helped us Again, we haven't got the wins we want, but I think the reason we have optimism is there's been a consistency week by week in the effort and not doing the stupid stuff that sometimes people do when they're having losing seasons. There's been a little bit of a foundation, I feel like, being built.
Do you think the culture is at the point where if you move forward into other seasons, bring in new players and they're not doing what they need to do, the players will police that?
Yeah, I think absolutely, and I've said that for a while. The best teams are teams that take ownership of themselves, right? And if you have to be the one always kind of going over stuff, then you're not going to be considered, because you can't be everywhere. These guys are in the locker room. They're out with each other, whatever, on the weekends, whenever, trying to figure out is it okay or do we need to leave, right? So they have to kind of police each other. And I've seen that. Again, I give a lot of credit to, again, we hadn't had the record we want, but the way our guys show up each and every week, I think is a reflection of the leadership of our Bull Council, leadership of the seniors, of those guys, because I can present the message, but if those guys on the front row, if they don't buy into it, the guys behind them aren't going to buy into it. And so I do think we're starting to see that, and that's why I hope whenever we do bring in some new guys, that we're bringing them into a locker room that is a lot further ahead from a culture standpoint and standard standpoint, work ethic, all attitude, mindset. And I think that's what's going to help us continue to move forward.
Do you have any updates on the guys that got banged up on Friday and found in T. Avery Weaver?
Okay. No. I think most of them have been. They've all been out there. I think Donovan Batiste been good. Weaver's kind of been where he's been the last couple of weeks. He wasn't 100% last week and can kind of go out there for a few plays, come back. So hopefully a little bit of time this week will get him back. But those other guys have been good. And again, we're this late in the year, everybody's beat up. And one things I complimented our team on there at the end, because it was a really physical day and really intense practice. I was really pleased by that. But I just made a point, man, I appreciate there's about 12 of you guys out here that got a lot of ailments. It's not an injury that keeps you out, but it's something that doesn't feel 100%. And late in the year, it's easy just to say, you know what, I'm going to stand over here with the trainer on Tuesday, and I'll be back Wednesday and Thursday. And I'm sitting out there watching practice with all these guys that I know are banged up, and they're pushing. And I'm going, man, this is great to see. Like, this is so much further ahead than where we were in the past a year ago, where everybody was wanting to get a yellow jersey and stand on the sidelines. So I'm really, really pleased. That's a mindset thing. That's not a training room or anything. That's a mindset thing, and our guys have done a good job pushing through with that so far.
To that extent, it sounds like they're really valuing the fact there's only 2 games left.
Yeah.
Make the most of them.
Yeah. They do know, and again, it's not. Sometimes I've been a part of whether I was assistant coach, coordinator. You kind of go in there and trying to throw a bunch of stuff out and see what sticks. Like whenever I was talking to our guys on Monday, they know. Like everybody knows where we are and what we have the chance to do and what we're going to set our sights on. It's very real and genuine, and I think that's why they're pushing and working, because they know that as well. If they didn't have confidence that we have a chance to go out and have success these last 2 games, then you wouldn't see what I got to see today in Tuesday's practice.
The Jimmy Horn touchdown, 80 yards, 75 yards after the catch. What did you think when you reviewed that, and what do you think about where Jimmy is right now?
Yeah, it's great to see. I've seen a lot of those in practice over there on the scout field. Great to see it happen in the game and happen against one of the best teams. I mean, the guy that missed the tackle right there early was probably going to be a top 10 draft pick coming up in this draft. So it wasn't like he was doing it against a no-name group or whatever. So it just kind of built on in my mind that we got a lot of young players that are coming on and playing and doing it against a really good schedule. So it's good.
Are you surprised at how fast Timmy McLean has improved, and where do you think he's better now than he was at the beginning of the year?
Yeah. Surprised. I mean, honestly, I'm not real surprised, because we saw some of that in spring ball, and we've seen it parts this year. And I guess because I know kind of on the injury front where he was in the middle of the season, now that he's back healthy again. And also, you just know as a freshman quarterback, I mean, again, I use the example a lot, but I've been through it 2 times with talented quarterbacks with Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. And you know, from early in the year to where they are late in the year, you see progress from really good players that, I mean, they only got to see it one time and they learn from that. Okay, they may make another mistake. They're going to make other mistakes, but the goal is don't make the same mistake you made last game. So that's where I've seen some good progress from him, and I think he's playing more confident in our team. I mean, when you have a talented player back there at quarterback, I mean, literally, it's fun for me as a coach to watch it. Every time he has the ball, you're like, something good's about to happen. And I think the defense probably feels the same way. They're getting their adjustments, and I think they're up there wanting to watch the video board, to see what he and the other guys are going to do. So I think that's exciting. And again, for us, where we want to eventually be, I mean, we want to have a chance to win our conference, and to do that, you got to have a older quarterback that's been through some battles, been through some experiences, and so I think all this opportunity that he's getting right now as we're building this thing is going to pay off for us down the road.